Chapter 3551. Xuekong the Red Nether Master had used up a lot of his divine power in the fight with Jian Wushuang. Later, Jian Wushuang had used up 10 of his divine power in one strike. The Red Nether Master had indeed used up more than 20 of his divine power. However, they were in the universe battlefield and the Nine Twists Demon Cave, the core area of Devil Smoke Valley. It was very difficult to recover divine power in the universe battlefield. At least, it was much more difficult than in other places. As a perfect life form, Jian Wushuang's divine power was incredible. However, he had lost 1/5 of his divine power in order to get the mysterious blade in the flame tide. Even though he had been in the universe battlefield for nearly 20 years, he still could not fully recover 1/5 of his divine power. It was difficult to recover divine power in the universe battlefield. As for Red Nether Master's 20 godly power, it would take him at least several decades to fully recover it, and he would need some elixirs to assist him. It could be said that he had really failed this time. At this moment, Red Nether, a deep voice suddenly sounded. Red Nether Master turned to look at the source of the voice. When he saw the person who had come, he was not surprised. After all, his soul power had been spreading all this time. He knew that the other party had appeared within the range of his soul perception. Xuekong, why are you here? Red Nether Master asked. DBG Container 632764437B6 Display. Flex Direction. Column Align Items. Center Justify Content. Center Z Index. 214-748-3647. Important, I happened to pass by here, so I wanted to say hello to you. However, you don't look too well. Did something happen? Xuekong, a towering man with a body of more than 3 meters in golden armor, appeared in front of Red Nether Master. Xuekong. There were many dangers in the universe battlefield, but there were countless great beings who came to explore. Although these great beings came to different astral worlds or forces, sometimes they would come into contact with each other for common interests. After a long time, some of them could even become good friends. For example, the life and death brother of Heavy Master, Purple Sound Master, was not a member of Star Palace. As for Xuekong and Red Nether Master, they had been wandering around the Nine Twists Demon Cave all year round. They had frequent contact with each other and had a good relationship with each other. Red Nether Master naturally was not too wary of Xuekong. I just had a fight with someone and ended up being rejected, Red Nether Master said. Oh. Xuekong's expression changed. He took a careful look at Red Nether Master and nodded slightly. Judging from the aura on your body, it has indeed weakened a little. However, given your temperament, if you encounter some powerful people in this Nine Twists Demon Cave, you won't fight with them at all. So, who exactly did you meet? Blood Sword Master, do you know? Red Nether Master glanced at Xuekong. Blood Sword Master? Xuekong recalled for a moment, but he immediately remembered. Are you talking about that Blood Sword Master who made quite a name for himself in the outer area of Devil Smoke Valley some time ago? It's him. Red Nether Master nodded. That's not right. Isn't that Blood Sword Master's strength not yet at the true level of the 6th realm of the void? With your strength, you should definitely be able to crush him, Xuekong said strangely. I thought the same before, so I chose to attack without hesitation. But in the end, after I really fought with him, I realized that his strength is far from being as simple as the rumors say. He definitely has the combat strength of the 6th realm of the void, and he is definitely not weak among the 6 levels of the void. When I fought with him, not only did I not gain any upper hand, but I was also slightly suppressed by him. In the end, he even used his ultimate move and destroyed 10 of my divine power. I was so scared that I immediately ran away, Red Nether Master said. Is there such a thing? Xuekong immediately became interested. Quick, tell me in detail. Red Nether Master did not hide anything and told Xuekong about the battle. He did not exaggerate Jian Wushuang's strength. Instead, he told Xuekong everything he knew. After hearing Red Nether Master's words, the excitement in Xuekong's eyes grew. He created several advanced Tier 6 skills at the same time, and he even created a peak Tier 6 skill. This Blood Sword Master is interesting. Why? Do you have any ideas about this Blood Sword Master? Red Nether Master immediately looked over. I definitely don't have any big ideas. It's already very difficult to kill someone with his level of strength. I'm only interested in fighting with him. After all, it's rare for the Nine Twists Demon Cave to be lively. It's rare to meet an interesting newcomer, so of course I have to go and greet him, said Xuekong with a smile. If you want to go, hurry up. You might be able to catch up with him before he gets too far, Red Nethermaster said. Then I'll go. Xuekong did not hesitate and followed the direction that Red Nethermaster had pointed out. Xuekong was extremely fast, and Jian Wushuang did not try his best to travel in the Nine Twists Demon Cave. He also did not change his direction, so it did not take long for Xuekong to catch up with Jian Wushuang. Ha ha, Blood Sword Master, stop. A hearty laughter came from the void behind him. Jian Wushuang immediately stopped and turned to look at the void behind him. He immediately saw Xuekong, the towering man who was more than 3 meters tall. Xuekong did not conceal his aura, nor did he intend to sneak up on Jian Wushuang. He just swaggered in front of Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang immediately recognized him. Xuekong Master, what's the matter? Jian Wushuang asked with a smile. Ha ha, Blood Sword Master, to be honest, I just heard about you from the Red Nethermaster. I also know that you've made the Red Nethermaster suffer a great loss. That's why I came here, Xuekong said frankly. You heard about it from Red Nethermaster? Jian Wushuang nodded slightly, then he smiled and said, I heard that you have a good relationship with Red Nethermaster. Are you here to help Red Nethermaster get back at him? No, don't misunderstand. Xuekong waved his hand. It's true that I have a good relationship with Red Nethermaster. However, he came to you on his own initiative. Even if he was killed by you, he deserved it. I won't help him. As for why I came here, I just wanted to have a fight with you after I heard about your strength from Red Nethermaster. Sure enough. Jian Wushuang was not surprised by Xuekong's reply. Jian Wushuang had already guessed the reason for his visit the moment he saw Xuekong Master. He had read Xuekong Master's information and knew that Xuekong Master was a true battle maniac. He was a so-called battle maniac. Chapter 3552. Unforeseen circumstances. A battle maniac who liked to fight immediately chased after him after hearing about him from the Red Nethermaster. Of course, his purpose was to fight with him. Blood Sword Master, Red Nether has a high opinion of you. Don't let me down, said Xuekong. I'll try my best, Jian Wushuang said with a faint smile. Then, his figure flashed. He appeared directly in front of Xuekong. With the Blood Mountain sword in hand, he slashed out with his sword. A brilliant blood-red sword light filled the air. This blood-red sword light carried an extremely violent aura. It was the Peerless Sword Manual, Xianxia. Not bad. It's indeed an advanced level 6 secret skill. Seeing Jian Wushuang's swordsmanship, Xuekong was delighted. With a flip of his hand, a black stone stick appeared in his hand. This black stone stick looked ordinary, but the aura it emitted was extremely shocking. It was also a powerful advanced universe supreme treasure. With the stone stick in his hand, Xuekong waved it. This swing seemed simple and did not have any fancy moves, but it was such a simple and direct stick skill, and it gave people a feeling of being unstoppable. Bang! The long stick hit the Blood Mountain sword, and the explosive power suddenly burst out. Jian Wushuang's body slightly shook, and then he immediately retreated. Blood Sword Master, I heard from Red Nethermaster that you have a high-level offensive magic weapon. Take it out and don't hide it, said Xuekong. As you wish. Jian Wushuang did not hesitate and immediately changed to the Absolute Shadow Divine Sword. BG Container 632764337B6 Display. Flex Direction. Column Align Items. Center Justify Content. Center Z Index. 214-748-3647. Important. With the Absolute Shadow Divine Sword in hand, the power of Jian Wushuang's swordsmanship instantly increased to a whole new level. Whoosh! Jian Wushuang's figure turned into a ghost and flashed out like lightning. In the blink of an eye, he was engaged in fierce battle with Xuekong, and his swordsmanship was completely unleashed. Xuekong, on the other hand, had always looked relaxed and comfortable. He had only casually attacked Jian Wushuang's swordsmanship, but he had completely blocked it. It even caused a certain impact on Jian Wushuang's power. After dozens of collisions, Jian Wushuang's expression had become serious. Just as the information said, This Shuekong master is much stronger than the Red Nether Master I met before, Jian Wushuang thought to himself. The Red Nether Master was only at an ordinary level among the Principals Masters of the preliminary 6 realms. The Shuekong Master was also a Principals Master of the preliminary 6 realms, but his strength, he was definitely very strong among Principals Masters in the 6th realm. He was probably not far away from the advanced 6th realm. Jian Wushuang could slightly suppress the Red Nether Master when he used his ultimate Shadow Sword in the battle with the Red Nether Master. But now, he also used his ultimate Shadow Sword and displayed the strongest power other than the Heaven Cleaving skill. In the end, Shuekong Master was still able to resist his sword skill. Judging from Shuekong Master's relaxed look, it was obvious that he had not used all of his strength. Blood Sword Master, I heard from Red Nether Master that you have also created an absolute art at the peak of stage 6. Can you show it to me? Shuekong Master said with a smile. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes and said in a cold voice, in that case, you'd better watch carefully. Jian Wushuang did not hesitate at all. A powerful destructive will swept out. Jian Wushuang also slashed out with his shadow exterminating divine sword. A terrifying sword light that covered the heaven and earth, with the monstrous fighting will that would not give up, directly slashed toward Shuekong. This sword. Seeing Jian Wushuang's swordsmanship, Shuekong's eyes flashed with a bright light. Ha ha, this is interesting. Shuekong was still laughing, and his aura suddenly soared. A layer of black air current swept up from his body. This black air current was formed after the power of the destruction principles had materialized. Shuekong was a principles master who had completely mastered the destruction principles. Moreover, his level of application and understanding of the destruction principles was frighteningly high. The black airflow completely covered the long staff in his hand. The long staff shook slightly and then smashed out with a rumble. Although this staff was only at the advanced stage of the 6th rank, the power of the staff shadow was definitely not weaker than Jian Wushuang's swordsmanship. Bang! A shocking boom. The whole world seemed to be about to explode. The airwave formed by the crazy collision of the 2 attacks swept up crazily and lifted up a large number of gravel below. However, at this moment, a sudden change occurred. Roar! A sudden angry roar suddenly sounded in the world on the black ground below. One of the ground directly caved in. Soon after, a huge creature climbed out from the ground. This huge creature was over 5 meters tall. Its entire body was as black as ink, and its body was strange and strange. Its body was about the same size as its head, and on its huge head, which proved that it was incomparably huge, it had 3 eyes and a big bloody mouth, but it did not have a nose. It also had thick arms, 4 arms, and on one of its arms was a giant silver axe. Such a monster suddenly emerged from the ground, and as soon as it appeared, a hair-raising violent aura filled the air. This is... Seeing this huge monster suddenly emerge from the ground, Jian Wushuang's expression changed drastically. Oh no, it's a monster, a 9-curve monster unique to the 9 Twists Demon Cave. Shuekong was also shocked. He could no longer care about the outcome of the battle with Jian Wushuang and immediately retreated. However, the monster emerged from the ground below them, and it happened to be the closest to Shuekong. As soon as it appeared, the monster immediately pounced toward Shuekong. Although the monster was big, its speed was shockingly fast. It was even faster than the speed of an ordinary expert of the 6th realm. It pounced in front of Shuekong almost instantly. At the same time, the 4 arms also returned to Shuekong. Evil creature! Shuekong was extremely shocked and furious. He immediately swung the stone rod in his hand and smashed it at the monster. This hit blocked 3 of the monster's arms, but there was still the best arm that could not block it. The last arm happened to be the one holding the giant silver axe. The giant silver axe swung out from the monster's hand. Without any hindrance, it directly hit Shuekong's body. Hua la la! The true treasure armor on Shuekong's body was slashed with an extremely long white mark, and sparks flew in all directions. Fortunately, he was protected by the true treasure armor, and the monster did not know how to use any axe techniques. It only relied on brute force, so the axe did not cause much damage to him. Without the true treasure armor, or the treasure armor level is not high enough, cannot withstand this power, Blood Empty this time will definitely be seriously injured. Chapter 3553, Silver Axe Let's Go. Shui Kong immediately turned around and fled after taking the blow from the monster's axe. Let's go. Jian Wushuang also chose to flee without any hesitation. The monster initially wanted to chase after him, but it stopped after a short distance. It could not be helped. Although the monster was fast, its intelligence was very low. Both Jian Wushuang and Shui Kong could easily shake it off. Not long after, Jian Wushuang stopped in a void not far away. The Shui Kong master was fleeing in the same direction as him, so they gathered together again. Is that the monster from the Nine Twists Demon Cave? It's really terrifying. In terms of strength, the monster just now is not weaker than an ordinary expert of the Sixth Realm, Jian Wushuang thought. Blood Sword Master, did you see it? Shui Kong suddenly looked over. Of course I saw it. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes. That monster was holding an axe. And it seems to be of a very high level. Of course it was high. The axe just now hit me. I felt it very clearly. Although my true treasure armor is only at the level of an elementary universe true treasure, it's the best among the elementary universe true treasure armors. Normally, even if an advanced universe true treasure hit my true treasure armor, my armor could at least resist 80 to 90% of its power. But when the monster's axe hit me just now, my true treasure armor could barely resist 50% of its power. What does that mean? Shui Kong Master looked a little excited. .bg container 632764337b6 display. Flex direction, column align items, center justify content, center Z index, 214-748-3647. Important, that means the axe in the monster's hand is a top-tier universe true treasure. Jian Wushuang said with a straight face. Yes, it's a top-tier universe true treasure. Shui Kong's eyes started to flicker. Universe true treasures were divided into elementary, advanced, top-tier, peak, and supreme true treasures. Among them, peak true treasures and aspiring supreme true treasures were treasures that even ruler realm experts coveted. Some of them did not even have supreme true treasures in their hands. Top-tier universe true treasures were not as valuable as pinnacle true treasures and supreme true treasures, but they were enough to make countless principals masters go crazy over them. In the true treasure treasury of Star Palace, top-tier universe true treasures could only be exchanged for 100 contribution points. Top-tier universe true treasures, even the most ordinary attack weapons, could be exchanged for more than 2,000 contribution points. It was 20 times higher than an advanced universe true treasure. One could imagine how powerful a top-tier true treasure was. There were not many true treasures in the Star Palace's true treasure vault, but Jian Wushuang had seen them before. There were only a few top-tier true treasures. But now, a top-tier true treasure appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. Sure enough, the opportunities and true treasures in the depths of Devil Smoke Valley cannot be compared with those in the outer regions. It's rare to find an advanced true treasure in the outer regions, but now, in the Nine Twists Demon Cave, I have found a top-tier true treasure so quickly, Jian Wushuang muttered. Both he and Shui Kong Master were eager to see the silver axe in the monster's hand. Blood Sword Master, you're from Star Palace, right? Shui Kong suddenly asked. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. That's a pity, Shui Kong said with a smile. Pity? What do you mean? Jian Wushuang frowned. Blood Sword Master, you were there just now and saw the monster attack with your own eyes. You should know the strength of the monster. It's definitely at the high level of the Six Realms. In addition, it has a top-tier universe true treasure, so its battle strength will be stronger. To kill the monster, it's impossible for an expert at the peak of the Six Realms to get the axe from it, Shui Kong said. Yes, it is indeed possible to kill the monster by an expert at the pinnacle of the Sixth Realm or above, Jian Wushuang agreed. As far as I know, although your Star Palace has experts at the pinnacle of the Sixth Realm, there are none who are currently roaming in the Nine Twists Demon Cave. In other words, even if you send a message to Star Palace now, Star Palace can't send an expert to kill the monster in a short period of time. Am I right? Shui Kong said with a smile. That's right. Jian Wushuang nodded. That's right. The experts from your Star Palace can't arrive in time. There happens to be an expert at the pinnacle of the Sixth Realm in my force. I'll send a message to him now. He'll arrive here soon. Shui Kong smiled at Jian Wushuang. I see. Jian Wushuang smiled. He understood what Xue Kong meant and why he said he felt a little regretful. Apparently, Xue Kong thought that he could not summon an expert at the pinnacle of the sixth realm to kill the monster in a short time, so he could not get the axe, which was a top-tier universe supreme treasure. However, Xue Kong could summon an expert at the pinnacle of the sixth realm in a short time. Although both of them saw the monster and the axe in the monster's hand at the same time, if Jian Wushuang could not summon an expert to kill the monster in time, Xue Kong could naturally get the axe. Xue Kong Master, do you mean that whoever kills your monster first will get the axe? Jian Wushuang asked. Yes. Xue Kong nodded. Blood Sword Master, as long as you can get help from someone at the pinnacle of the sixth realm in a short period of time, you will be able to get the axe. Unfortunately, Xue Kong did not finish his words. That's good. As for the principal's master at the pinnacle of the sixth realm, I have a way to invite him, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Oh. Xue Kong frowned with a hint of surprise in his eyes. In his opinion, Jian Wushuang should not be able to invite an expert at the pinnacle of the sixth realm from Star Palace in a short period of time. Could it be that he can invite an expert outside of Star Palace? Xue Kong's heart sank. Xue Kong Master, I'll take my leave first. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly and turned around to fly in the direction of the monster. Seeing Jian Wushuang leave so confidently, Xue Kong felt even more uneasy. I'd like to see what Xue Kong Master is up to. Xue Kong frowned and followed him. Jian Wushuang had certainly noticed the existence of Xue Kong Master behind him, but he did not care. Instead, he went back the way he came. Soon, he returned to the place where he had met the monster. From afar, Jian Wushuang saw the black monster sitting cross-legged on the black ground in front of him. Fortunately, the monster has not returned to the ground in such a short time. Seeing that the monster was still there, Jian Wushuang also let out a sigh of relief. If the monster had returned to the ground, it would have been a lot more difficult for Jian Wushuang to find it. However, it was still on the ground and right under his nose. There was a great chance for Jian Wushuang to kill it. Chapter 3554. Killing the monster. Seeing that the monster had not returned to the ground, Jian Wushuang was ready to move. He flashed and used the shadowless escape art to approach the monster. The Blood Sword Master is approaching it? What is he trying to do? The Xue Kong Master was in the void far away. Seeing Jian Wushuang's action, his expression became even more strange. Is he planning to kill the monster by himself? Are you kidding me? With the monster's strength, it's impossible to kill it without the battle strength of the pinnacle of the sixth realm. Or does the Blood Sword Master have some kind of trump card that he can use to kill the monster? The Xue Kong Master murmured while he stared at Jian Wushuang attentively. Although Jian Wushuang had used the shadowless escape art, Xue Kong could still sense his presence with his strength. He could clearly see that Jian Wushuang had used the shadowless escape art to quietly approach the monster. Soon, Jian Wushuang arrived near the monster, but the monster did not notice him at all. After all, although the monster had the battle strength equivalent to an advanced sixth realm expert, its soul strength was not as strong as that of the principal's master of the sixth realm of the void. Moreover, because the monster's intelligence was too low, it had almost no sense of danger. Is he going to make a move? Xue Kong frowned slightly. The next moment, his pupils suddenly shrank. He's going to make a move. Sure enough, Jian Wushuang, who was already close to the monster, had already made a move with lightning speed. Moreover, he appeared directly beside the monster and then displayed his swordsmanship. Swish. WG Container 632764337B6 Display. Flex Direction. Column Align Items. Center Justify Content. Center Z Index. 214-748-3647. Important: a blood shadow, like a blood red flash, pierced toward the eye in the center of the monster's head with a shocking piercing force. The third move of the Bloody Sword skill. When Jian Wushuang chose to attack, he activated his Life Divine Power and the Heaven Cleaving skill. After using the Heaven Cleaving skill, the power of the sword suddenly rose to a whole new level. The key was to attack suddenly. The monster did not notice it at all, but when it noticed it, the blood-red flash was less than 2 meters away from his head. At such a close distance, the monster could not even dodge. Kai! The blood-red flash directly pierced through the big eye in the center of the monster and came out from the other side of the head. Roar! With a hysterical roar, the monster instantly burst into action. Two of its four thick arms held Jian Wushuang's absolute shadow divine sword, while the other two palms violently attacked Jian Wushuang. One of the two arms was holding onto the giant silver axe. Humph! Jian Wushuang snorted and twisted his wrist in a strange way. A shocking sword essence swept out and the absolute shadow sword rolled up, forming a wave of killing power that further damaged the monster's head. It also directly shook off the two arms that the monster was holding onto the absolute shadow divine sword. Then, Jian Wushuang exerted more strength with his right hand. He used the heaven-cleaving skill again, instantly bringing with it the power of an expert at the pinnacle of the sixth realm. The sword directly cut through the monster, and the sound of the blade entering the body rang out. The sword was as sharp as the Blood Mountain sword. Now that Jian Wushuang was using his full strength, the sword directly cut open the monster's head and continued to cut out. It actually cut off one of the monster's arms. After doing all this, Jian Wushuang immediately retreated and used the shadowless escape art again. Roar! Although the monster's head was open and looked terrible, its life was not completely cut off. Instead, it was still roaring crazily, trying to find Jian Wushuang's location. However, it could not find Jian Wushuang at all, so it could only get angry blindly. Jian Wushuang hid in the surrounding void and looked at the furious monster. It's a pity that the monster's life core is not on its head. It seems to be in its heart, Jian Wushuang murmured. Jian Wushuang had read the information of these monsters and knew how special they were. The monsters in the Nine Twists Demon Cave did not have immortal bodies like human cultivators. To be exact, they had immortal bodies, but the prerequisite was that their life cores were still there. The life cores were the core of these monsters and the source of all power. As long as the life cores were not broken, the monsters could regenerate even if their heads exploded and their bodies collapsed. However, as long as the life cores were broken, the monsters would still die even if there were no scars on their faces. However, because the life core was too important, these monsters protected their life cores very well. Under normal circumstances, these monsters would only put their life cores in two places, one in the middle of the head, the other place was where the heart was. Jian Wushuang did not know where the monster put its life core, so he tried to attack the monster's head first, relying on the shadowless escape skill and the bloody sword skill. In addition to the supreme power of his heaven-cleaving skill, he directly blew away the monster's head, but he failed to kill it. Since the life core was not in the monster's head, it had to be in its heart. After understanding this, Jian Wushuang attacked again. It had to be said that these monster experts were true, but they were still far inferior to cultivators in many aspects, except for the strength of a direct battle. For example, in terms of soul power, these monsters had almost no soul power at all. They relied on the simplest perception ability. However, they were very passive when they met a cultivator like Jian Wushuang, who had the ability to secretly think and move. Now, the monster was in a rage because of Jian Wushuang's sneak attack, but it could not find Jian Wushuang at all, so it had nowhere to vent its anger. Until Jian Wushuang attacked again. Whoosh! The sword light swept out, and the heaven-cleaving skill was used again, slashing toward the monster from the side. This time, the monster was on guard and reacted in an instant. The arm holding the giant silver axe slashed out angrily. It did not use any axe skill, but simply relied on its own brute force. Jian Wushuang, who had used the heaven-cleaving skill, was definitely stronger than the monster. Bang! A low sound of collision was heard. The giant silver axe was thrown away, and the monster was also sent flying. I won't stop until I die. Jian Wushuang's eyes were cold, and a shocking destructive will suddenly rose up. He slashed the absolute shadow divine sword directly at the monster's chest, which was where its heart was. With a sense of hatred, he slashed at the monster's chest. The shocking power transmitted into the monster's body and instantly shattered its life nucleus. Chapter 3555. Shocking in just a split second, the monster was killed by Jian Wushuang. Of course, this was normal. After all, Jian Wushuang's battle strength was definitely at the peak of the sixth void realm after using the heaven-cleaving skill. In addition, he also had the shadowless escape skill, so he could make a sudden attack. Moreover, the monster had been severely injured by him from the beginning, and its strength had been greatly reduced. Under such circumstances, it was naturally very easy for Jian Wushuang to kill it. After killing the monster, Jian Wushuang went directly to the silver axe and picked it up. It really is a top-tier universe supreme treasure. The moment Jian Wushuang held the silver axe, he had already felt the power of the silver axe. Unfortunately, he did not use the axe as a weapon. When the silver axe fell into his hands, he could only use it to exchange for contribution points and then go to the Star Palace's Supreme Treasure Vault to exchange for other supreme treasures. Moreover, he had just arrived at the core area of Devil Smoke Valley, so it was impossible for him to immediately go back and exchange it for contribution points. The Xuekong master must have seen me kill this monster. It seems that I have to think of a way to deal with him. Jian Wushuang smiled and said, "Well, he's already here." Jian Wushuang looked ahead and saw that the Xuekong master had come. However, when the Xuekong master appeared in front of Jian Wushuang, he looked shocked. It was just as Jian Wushuang had said. He had seen Jian Wushuang kill the monster the whole time. It was because of him that he was shocked and found it unbelievable. When he saw Jian Wushuang choose to attack the monster directly, he wondered if Jian Wushuang was dizzy and thought that he could kill the monster with his own strength. However, when he saw Jian Wushuang seriously injure the monster, he was immediately shocked. .bg container 632764337b6 display. Flex direction, column align items, center justify content, center Z index, 214-748-3647. Important later, when he saw Jian Wushuang attack again and easily kill the monster, he was completely stunned. He was indeed stunned. He had never expected that Jian Wushuang, who seemed to have used all of his strength when he fought with him, could only fight with him. He was even slightly weaker than Jian Wushuang. He had actually killed the monster alone, which could rival an advanced expert of the sixth realm. Now, he appeared in front of Jian Wushuang again. Apart from being shocked, he also had mixed feelings. Blood Sword Master, did you hide your strength when you fought with me? Xuekong asked. Not exactly. I did use my strongest strength when I fought with you, but I didn't use some of my trump cards. I was able to kill this monster because I used this trump card, Jian Wushuang said. He did not lie. The Heaven Cleaving skill was indeed his trump card. Under normal circumstances, he did not intend to use this trump card. Trump card? Xuekong Master still looked at Jian Wushuang deeply. He could see that when Jian Wushuang killed the monster, he did indeed burst out with the combat strength of the pinnacle of the sixth realm. And for a person whose combat strength was only in the initial stage of the sixth realm to burst out with the combat strength of the peak of the path, this trump card was really too strong. Xuekong Master, although you and I discovered the axe at the same time, according to what you said before, whoever kills the monster first and gets the axe will get the axe. Now the axe is mine, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Of course. You have such a powerful trump card. No matter how much I think about the axe, I don't have the ability. It's a pity that the expert I invited came here for nothing. Xuekong Master's expression had softened. Knowing that it was impossible to get the axe from Jian Wushuang again, the Xuekong Master was relieved. Xuekong Master, there's one more thing I need your help with, Jian Wushuang suddenly said. Help? Xuekong looked at Jian Wushuang strangely. It's like this. Until now, not many people know about my trump card, but now that you know it, I want you to keep it for me. After all, it's best not to let too many people know about my trump card. I also don't want others to know about my axe, which is a top-tier universe supreme treasure, Jian Wushuang said. I understand. I can promise you that I won't tell anyone about this, but I'll still tell the force behind me about it, Xuekong Master said. Jian Wushuang could not help but be speechless. If Xuekong Master told the force behind him about his trump card, it would be no different from directly revealing it. Of course, I can report it later. Now, I'll only remind the people who have a certain relationship with me and are adventuring in the depths of Devil Smoke Valley. How about it? Xuekong Master said. Thank you. Jian Wushuang immediately smiled. It was only to tell a limited number of people. If it was not completely publicized, Jian Wushuang could still accept it. To be honest, although the Xuekong Master saw him kill the monster with his Heaven Cleaving skill, he did not know how many times he could use this trump card because Jian Wushuang killed the monster so quickly, or how long he could use it. At present, the Xuekong Master probably only knew that he could release his battle strength at the pinnacle of the sixth realm in a short time, but he did not know how long it would take. Xuekong Master, goodbye. Jian Wushuang said and left. This time, The Shuekong master did not follow him. He looked at Jian Wushuang's back and sighed. Then, he left. Soon, Shuekong master returned to the place where he had met Red Nether Master. Shuekong, are you going to kill Bloodsword Master? Red Nether Master immediately came up to him. Yes. Shuekong master nodded. What's the result? Although Bloodsword Master is not weak, he's still weaker than you, right? Red Nether Master said. I can't say much about this, because something unexpected happened midway, Shuekong master said. What happened? Red Nether Master asked. We encountered a monster on the way to battle, Shuekong master said. And then? Red Nether Master looked at Shuekong master. And then? Shuekong master hesitated for a while, but he still didn't tell him what had happened. However, he still said, I promised Bloodsword Master. There are some things that I can't tell him directly. However, you and I have some friendship. Let me remind you that if you meet Bloodsword Master alone in the future, you should try to avoid him. This Bloodsword Master is not as simple as you think. Oh. Shuekong master was surprised. Bloodsword Master was not as simple as he thought. He even said that he would try to avoid him if he met him alone in the future. What exactly happened when Shuekong met Bloodsword Master? Red Nether Master could not figure it out, but Shuekong master did not say much and soon left. Chapter 3556. Shi Yang and Red Eye. After obtaining the axe, which was a top-tier universe supreme treasure, from the monster, Jian Wushuang continued to explore the Nine Twists Demon Cave alone. 30 years passed in a flash. In the Nine Twists Demon Cave, there was an endless pile of black stones. Bang! A loud bang shook the sky, and a powerful force swept across, shattering the rocks into pieces. Sue! An extremely wretched figure appeared from within that powerful force. This person was dressed in a black robe, and his face was thin. He had a pair of mustaches. His body trembled as he looked at the two people in front of him, and he roared angrily, Xianxia Master, Red Eye Master, your Northern Sea Palace is really going too far. Going too far? Said a middle-aged man wearing a fiery red armor. His body was also surging with raging flames, and he looked like a flame war god. There was a sneer on the corner of the middle-aged man's mouth. Hengyi, to think that you are a great being who has been adventuring in this universe battlefield for so many years. Why are you still so naive when you speak? In this world, the strong prey on the weak. Whoever has the biggest fist is the truth. Hand over your senior universe true treasure armor honestly. This way, Red Eye, and I can let you live. Otherwise. BG Container 632764337B6 Display. Flex Direction. Column Align Items. Center Justify Content. Center Z Index. 214-748-3647. Important: the middle-aged man who looked like Flame War God, Shi Yang Master, had not finished his words, but the killing intent in his eyes had already revealed his intentions. Hengyi, hand it over. If I join hands with Stone Hatred, you won't even be able to escape, Red Eye Master, a beautiful woman wearing a purplish-red robe and with a pair of strange red eyes, said. Under the combined threat of the two, even though Hengyi Master was extremely unwilling, he still took out his high-level universe armor and threw it at Shi Yang Master. Then he immediately turned and fled. Seeing Hengyi Master hand over his true treasure armor, Shi Yang Master and Red Eye Master had no intention of chasing after him. At least he is tactful. Otherwise, he would have died here. Red Eye Master smiled coldly. If it is possible not to kill him, then it is better not to kill him, Shi Yang Master said with a serious expression. Even though with our powers, it would be easy for us to kill him, but by doing so, we can be considered to have offended the faction behind him. If it was just this one time, then it would have been fine. North Sea Palace, where we are, is definitely one of the top 3 great factions in this territory. There is no need to care at all. But the most important thing is that we will continue to do so. If we kill them all, we will make too many enemies and bring trouble to the North Sea Palace. After all, we are not those lone wolves who can kill at will. They are not afraid of wearing shoes and can do whatever they want, but we can't. In the 3 great cosmic battlefields of this territory, although there were many experts who liked to killing everyone they saw just to plunder the treasures of the other party, but such experts, almost all of them were independent experts who did not have anything to worry about. Only such experts did not need to worry about anything. However, some experts who came from different astral worlds and different forces would not recklessly slaughter experts when they were roaming in the three great battlefields, because they would crazily slaughter others. The great beings from the forces behind others would also slaughter their own people crazily. In this way, both sides could only fight to the death, which was what no force wanted to see. Therefore, those great beings from different astral worlds and different forces would obey some restrictions when adventuring in the three great universe battlefields. Except for fighting for the chance of a true treasure, there was no definite reason. It was not easy for them to kill each other. For example, right now, Xianxia Master and Red Eye Master had the power to kill Hengyi Master, but they did not choose to kill him. They only forced him to hand over his senior true treasure armor. Although we can't kill him directly and take away all the treasures on his body, we can force him to hand over his most precious treasures on his own accord. That will be enough for us to make quite a fortune, said Xianxia Master. That's true. With our strength, we might not dare to say anything else, but in this Nine Twists Demon Cave, we should be able to do whatever we want. Other than those experts at the pinnacle of the sixth realm that we can't do anything to, the other principles masters below the sixth realm can only obediently hand over their strongest treasures when they encounter the two of us. Red Eye Master smiled strangely. Don't be happy too early. The two of us are working together to explore this place and force the experts we meet to hand over their strongest treasures. Although we won't encounter any obstacles in the beginning, as time passes, when this news spreads out and causes the experts of the Nine Twists Demon Cave to be on guard, our chances of succeeding will be greatly reduced. Therefore, we must make the most of our time. Before this news spreads out completely, we must find more experts and force them to hand over their most precious treasures. Xianxia Master said in this territory, although the news of the various astral worlds and various powers were extremely well informed, after all, there were simply too many powers in this territory's astral world. Moreover, most of these astral worlds and powers had their own thoughts. Even if they obtained some news, they would not easily share it. Hence, the speed of the news flow was not too fast. For example, the Xianxia Master and the Red Eye Master were wantonly searching for prey in the Nine Twists Demon Cave. Even though they had already succeeded a few times, this news was still not widely known. Among the experts who were adventuring in the Nine Twists Demon Cave, most of them did not know about this matter and were not on guard. This period of time was the best time for them to hunt. If the news spread and the experts in the Nine Twists Demon Cave became wary of the two of them, their chances of success would be greatly reduced. As the two of them were talking, Red Eye Master's expression suddenly changed. There's a new prey, Red Eye Master said. Oh, who is it? Xianxia Master immediately looked over. Of the two of them, Xianxia Master specialized in direct combat, and his strength was extremely tyrannical. He had already reached the pinnacle of the sixth realm. As for Red Eye Master, although her combat strength was not strong, she had only barely reached the high level of the sixth realm. However, what Red Eye Master specialized in the most was her soul power. Her soul attack technique was incomparably tyrannical. Even experts at the pinnacle of the sixth realm would not dare to underestimate her soul attack. Her attainments in the soul aspect were so high that her soul perception ability was naturally terrifyingly strong. At the very least, she was stronger than the Xianxia Master. Just like now, the Xianxia Master did not sense the existence of other experts in the surroundings, but the Red Eye Master did. Chapter 3557. The terrifying duo. This aura is strange, and he looks like Blood Sword Master, Red Eye Master said. Blood Sword Master? Xianxia Master raised his eyebrows. Jian Wushuang had been in the Nine Twists Demon Cave for 30 years. During this time, he had met some experts and interacted with them. Naturally, the news of his arrival spread. If it's really Blood Sword Master, it seems that we'll have something to gain, Xianxia Master said with a smile. Red Eye Master also smiled. It said that although Blood Sword Master only has the battle strength of the initial stage of the sixth realm, his life-saving ability is quite good. This life-saving ability mainly comes from the fact that he has a high-level space-time type true treasure, which is likely to be an advanced space-time type universe true treasure. A high-level space-time type universe true treasure. Although I'm also good at space-time principles, I don't have a space-time type true treasure of this level either. There was a glimmer of light in Xianxia Master's eyes. If that's the case, then what are we waiting for? Let's hurry over and force him to hand over the space-time type true treasure, said Red-Eye Master. Of course, but let's make a deal first. His space-time type true treasure will belong to me in the end, said Xianxia Master. No problem. Red-Eye Master obviously did not care so much. The two immediately rushed toward Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang was still wandering around the Nine Twists demon cave alone. Except for the first encounter with the monster and the axe, which was a top-tier supreme treasure, he had not encountered any other opportunities or treasures in the past 30 years. .bg container 632764337b6 display, flex direction, column align items, center justify content, center Z index, 214-748-3647. Important. As for the other experts, they had dealt with some people, but they did not fight for any supreme treasures or opportunities, nor did they use their full strength to fight with others. Suddenly, buzz. The surrounding void suddenly shook, and a powerful space-time power instantly covered the surrounding void. Space-time imprisonment? Jian Wushuang's face changed. One of his life-saving skills, space-time teleportation, ignored the flow of space-time. Ordinary space-time seals were useless against him, but once he used space-time imprisonment, he could not use this life-saving skill again. The fact that the other party directly used space-time imprisonment showed that he had a very good understanding of space-time principles. Most importantly, the other party came with bad intentions. Whoosh! Whoosh! Two figures suddenly appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang immediately recognized the two figures. So, you are the Xianxia Master and the Red-Eye Master from the North Sea Palace. What are you doing here? Jian Wushuang looked at the two people in front of him calmly. Blood Sword Master, you must have sensed that the space-time around you has been completely imprisoned. Don't you know our purpose? Xianxia Master looked at Jian Wushuang with interest. Jian Wushuang smiled and said, I don't think I've ever met you or provoked the North Sea Palace behind you. You've never provoked us, but that doesn't mean we can't take the initiative to provoke you. Xianxia Master sneered and said, Blood Sword Master, I can give you a chance. As long as you hand over your space-time universe supreme treasure, we'll let you go. What do you think? You want my treasure? Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. He had long guessed the purpose of these two people. However, he did not expect that they would join hands to deal with him directly. Both Xianxia Master and Red-Eye Master were very famous in the universe battlefield. They were usually very difficult to deal with, let alone when they joined hands. It's impossible for me to hand over the supreme treasure obediently. If you really have the ability, you can take it from me, Jian Wushuang said. Ha ha, how dare you? In that case, we won't be polite, Xianxia Master said in a cold voice. Red-Eye, do it. Let him suffer a little first. When he knows how powerful he is, he will naturally behave himself. Red-Eye Master nodded slightly and then suddenly raised her head. As soon as she raised her head, her strange red eyes looked straight at Jian Wushuang and made eye contact with him at the first moment. In an instant, the scene in front of Jian Wushuang changed. Husband! A soft voice rang in Jian Wushuang's ears. A white-clothed woman stood in front of him. The moment she turned around, a peerless beauty that could topple cities and countries appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. This peerless beauty was very familiar to Jian Wushuang. It was his wife, Leng Rushuang. Not only her appearance and figure, but also her gaze and her aloof temperament were exactly the same as Leng Rushuang in his previous life. Jian Wushuang could hardly find any difference. Husband, save me. Leng Rushuang said softly and extended her hand toward Jian Wushuang. Her beautiful and pitiful appearance made Jian Wushuang's body move involuntarily. He almost reached out to welcome her. However, Jian Wushuang immediately woke up. Illusion. It's an illusion. It's so real and terrifying. The veins on Jian Wushuang's forehead bulged in an instant, and his willpower increased to the maximum. Break for me. Jian Wushuang roared crazily. His willpower had reached the maximum, and the surrounding illusion and the beautiful white-clothed woman in front of him began to tremble violently. In just a moment, the illusion completely collapsed, and Jian Wushuang's consciousness returned to reality. However, as soon as he regained his consciousness, he immediately noticed that the Xianxia Master had appeared in front of him. His body was surging with flames, like a towering flame war god, the Flame War God held a huge axe in his hand and was slashing at him fiercely. The shadow of the axe came down, and it created a huge sea of fire in the void. Oh no! Jian Wushuang's face changed. He had just escaped from the illusion, but he was immediately hit by the axe of Xianxia Master. He did not have time to use any swordsmanship to block it, so he could only put the absolute shadow sword in front of him. Clang! The huge axe with endless flames and astonishing power struck the body of the absolute shadow sword. After all, the absolute shadow sword was a divine sword that focused on sharp cuts. The body of the sword was very thin, so it was impacted by the force. The entire body of the sword caved in and continued to hit Jian Wushuang with the axe shadow. Boom! In an instant, Jian Wushuang fell to the ground like a meteorite and finally hit the black ground below. A huge pit immediately appeared. Jian Wushuang had been smashed into the bottom of the hole. But in the next moment, he rose to the sky again. Chapter 3558. Target, Red Eye. So powerful. Xianxia Master is definitely an expert at the pinnacle of the sixth realm. Even if I try my best to use the heaven cleaving skill, I might not be his match. Besides, he has the help of Red Eye Master. Her illusion is also very difficult to deal with. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes slightly. It was normal for him to be no match for Xianxia Master. As for the Red Eye Master, if she was only good at soul attacks, Jian Wushuang would not take her seriously no matter how powerful her soul attacks were. However, the key was that the Red Eye Master was not only good at soul attacks, but also at all kinds of illusions. The illusions were so real that they allowed him to enter them silently. It would take him some time to crack them. During this time, Xianxia Master could attack him at will. With the two of them together, Jian Wushuang had no intention of fighting them at all. Let's go! Jian Wushuang did not hesitate at all. After rising up from the pit, he immediately burst out of the void to the side. Do you think you can escape? Xianxia Master smiled coldly. In an instant, a wave of space-time power swept out. At the same time, the raging flames on his body turned into a sea of fire and spread to the surroundings. This is... Jian Wushuang's expression changed. He had already felt the space-time power binding him and the crazy suppression of the sea of fire. As expected of an expert from the North Sea Palace. His family background is really extravagant. Not only does he have a space-time type universe supreme treasure, but he also has a domain type universe supreme treasure. When the two are combined, the suppression and restriction on me are too great. Jian Wushuang was secretly shocked. He immediately took out the golden sky painting flag and used his time-space domain. .bg container 632764337b6 display. Flex direction, column align items, center justify content, center Z index, 214-748-3647. Important. Although his time-space domain had instantly cancelled out the restriction of the time-space type true treasure, he could not affect the suppression of the domain type true treasure. He was still greatly suppressed by the domain. His speed was still greatly restricted. However, the speed of the two masters was not affected at all. They had already caught up with him, especially the Xianxia Master. As an expert at the pinnacle of the sixth realm, his speed was already faster than Jian Wushuang's. Now that he had caught up, it would not take long for him to catch up with Jian Wushuang. Xianxia Master, I don't have any enmity with you two. Why do you need to keep chasing me? Jian Wushuang said. Haha, I've already said that as long as you hand over the space-time treasure, I'll let you go. But if you don't want to, then it's not my fault. Xianxia Master sneered. It seems that there's no point in talking about it. In that case, let's fight. Jian Wushuang's eyes flashed with a sharp light. He had been frantically running forward, but at this moment, he suddenly turned around. He was charging straight at Xianxia Master. Ha ha, how dare you? Xianxia Master laughed loudly. Jian Wushuang's eyes were as cold as ice. He did not appear directly in front of Xianxia Master. Instead, he appeared at the side of Xianxia Master. At the same time, he slashed out with his ultimate shadow sword. He still had not used his heaven-cleaving skill. He had only activated his life divine power, which was comparable to that of an elementary principles master of the sixth realm. You overestimate yourself. Xianxia Master looked down on him. His body was covered in flames, and the axe in his hand was like a shooting star as it smashed directly onto the absolute shadow divine sword. Clang! With a loud sound, the strength of the axe exploded, and Jian Wushuang was immediately sent flying into the void to the side. Unfortunately, he was sent flying in the direction where the Red Eye Master was coming from. In other words, Jian Wushuang was able to close the distance between him and the Red Eye Master. As a result, the moment he regained his balance, he went straight for the Red Eye Master. His eyes suddenly burst with killing intent. "Hey!" The Red Eye Master frowned, and a look of surprise flashed through her eyes. However, she was not afraid at all. Although she was not good at fighting head-on, she had to deal with an elementary level 6 Realm Principles Master head-on. It's pretty easy. Moreover, although Jian Wushuang closed the distance between them and attacked her in an instant, she still had time to react. The moment Jian Wushuang attacked her, her soul power burst out. Soul Blast! The Red Eye Master growled, showing no mercy. The majestic soul power formed an invisible wall in an instant and crashed directly into Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang could not dodge this silent soul attack, but he had never thought of dodging it. He just let the terrifying soul attack hit him directly. It was known that the Red Eye Master was famous for her soul skills. Even experts at the pinnacle of the 6th realm would not dare to underestimate her soul attack. The soul attack was also one of her trump cards. Under normal circumstances, she could kill an expert of the 6th realm directly. However, when the soul blast hit Jian Wushuang, he only shook his body, but he did not stop at all. He continued to attack her. What? Red Eye Master was shocked. She never expected that Bloodsword Master would be able to withstand her soul blast with all her strength without even stopping. I will not rest until I die. Jian Wushuang's killing intent sword. The heaven-cleaving skill, which he had not used until now, completely exploded at this moment. An overwhelming destructive will rose up, carrying a sense of hatred that would not rest until death. In an instant, it turned into a brilliant purple sword light and slashed toward Red Eye Master. Oh no! The Red Eye Master's expression changed. A cyan-long spear immediately appeared in her hand and she faced the sword light. She had thought that although she was not good at fighting head-on, it would be relatively easy for her to deal with an ordinary Principles Master of the initial stage of the 6th realm. However, at the moment when his long spear collided with the sword light, she was completely stunned. How can it be so powerful? Red Eye Master was shocked. The sword light that Jian Wushuang displayed brought her a terrifying pressure that suffocated her. The power of the sword light was too strong. Almost in an instant, it shook away her long spear. Then, the sword light continued to slash at her divine body. Bang! Red Eye Master had the armor of an advanced universe true treasure, so the surface of her divine body was not damaged. However, a lot of the power still passed into her body and severely injured her. More than 30% of her godly power was annihilated at once. However, this was not the end. Chapter 3559. Severe Injury to Red Eye Swish. Jian Wushuang's figure disappeared into thin air. When he reappeared, he was already behind Red Eye Master. At the same time, a brand new sword mark appeared on the supreme treasure armor on Red Eye Master's body. The Peerless Sword Manual was a moment of life and death. This. The Red Eye Master was a little confused. She had just been severely injured by Jian Wushuang's sword and lost more than 30% of her divine power. Before she could react, Jian Wushuang had slashed her again, and the power of this sword was still extraordinary. The Peerless Sword Manual, 9th Heaven of Illusionary Sword. Jian Wushuang's killing intent sword. The shadow sword in his hand turned into purple lightning in an instant, and sword lights instantly enveloped the Red Eye Master. No! Xianxia, save me! The Red Eye Master screamed hysterically. Not far away, Xianxia Master had just arrived when he saw Jian Wushuang rushing toward the Red Eye Master. However, he did not expect Jian Wushuang to be so fast and decisive. .bg container 632764337b6 display. Flex direction, column align items, center justify content, center Z index, 214-748-3647. Important: when he came to the side of the Red Eye Master, Jian Wushuang had already slashed out 5 times with his 9th Firmament Illusionary Sword. Get lost! Xianxia Master roared, and the huge axe surrounded by raging fire rushed toward Jian Wushuang. The terrifying aura completely suppressed Jian Wushuang, making it impossible for him to strike out with the remaining 4 strikes. Retreat! Jian Wushuang pushed back without hesitation and dodged Xianxia Master's strike. Then Jian Wushuang glanced at Xianxia Master and sighed softly. It's a pity that I didn't kill her directly. But it's time to teach them a lesson. It's time to leave. Jian Wushuang did not linger and turned to leave. Due to the concern for Red Eye Master, Xianxia Master did not chase after him. She could only watch as Jian Wushuang disappeared from his sight. Red Eye, are you okay? Xianxia Master asked. At this moment, Red Eye Master still looked fearful. She only let out a long sigh after Jian Wushuang had completely left. I lost nearly 70 of my divine power. Fortunately, you came in time. Otherwise, I would have been killed by Bloodsword Master. She was telling the truth. She did not want to fight head-on. Faced with Jian Wushuang's terrifying swordsmanship, she was helpless and could only take the beating passively. The key point was that Jian Wushuang's strength had been too terrifying. In just a moment, he had destroyed nearly 70 of her divine power. If Stone Loathe Master had been a little slower, her life would have been in danger. What happened to Bloodsword Master? Xianxia Master asked. I don't know. It is said that his battle strength is only at the initial stage of the 6th realm. Because he knows a special escape technique and has a time-space type true treasure, his life-saving ability is a little stronger. But when he attacked me just now, his strength was definitely at the pinnacle of the 6th realm. Red Eye Master's eyes were cold. There's another point. He was able to withstand my soul attack without being affected at all? How is that possible? Xianxia Master frowned. Even I don't dare to ignore your soul attack, especially your soul attack. It's one of your killing moves, and I have to go all out to deal with it. How can he not be affected at all? I don't know, Red Eye Master said. But there is one possibility. He has a soul defense true treasure, and to completely ignore my soul attack, a normal soul defense true treasure can't do it. At the very least, it has to be a top-tier universe true treasure, or even a top-tier universe true treasure. A top-tier soul defense true treasure or a top-tier universe true treasure. Xianxia Master widened his eyes. In the universe true treasures had different values due to their different uses. True treasure armors were much more valuable than ordinary attack true treasures, and domain type and space-time type valuables of the same level were naturally more valuable than true treasure armors. As for soul type true treasures, they were far more valuable than true treasure armors. A soul-defending universe true treasure at the top-tier level would not be less valuable than a top-tier universe true treasure. If it was a top-tier soul-defending universe true treasure, its value would be even more shocking, and it would definitely attract countless great beings to fight over it. It seems that we have all underestimated this Bloodsword Master, Xianxia Master said with a serious expression. Although it is rumored that he only has the power of a low-level 6th-level true treasure, it is very clear that he has hidden quite a bit of his power, or rather, he has hidden some trump cards. At the very least, he has the power of a peak 6th-level true treasure within a short period of time. In addition, he has a soul defense true treasure that is at least a top-tier true treasure. Therefore, he did not choose to continue fleeing just now. Instead, he directly turned around and attacked us. If I'm not wrong, he must have intentionally fought with me before. Moreover, he had deliberately found the right spot. After he collided with me, he used the rebound force to get close to you at the fastest speed. After that, he instantly unleashed his trump card and attacked you. He had guessed that your soul attack would not be of much use to him. However, as long as he got close to you and instantly unleashed his strongest strength, he would have a chance to kill you. Just as he expected, he severely injured you. Well, it seems that Bloodsword Master has hidden himself well. Red Eye Master narrowed his eyes slightly. They had already determined that Jian Wushuang had hidden his strength or means. Moreover, they also believed that Jian Wushuang must have a soul defense true treasure above superior grade. At the same time, they also understood that Jian Wushuang's attack just now was deliberately planned and calculated. His purpose was probably to kill the Red Eye Master. Even if he could not kill him, he could at least severely injure the Red Eye Master. It could be considered as venting his anger. As for Xianxia Master, Jian Wushuang did not have any thoughts about it. A cunning guy. I almost fell and injured him again. The Red Eye Master's eyes were cold, and he looked like he was gnashing his teeth. Red Eye, don't worry. We won't let today's matter go, Xianxia Master said. Besides, this Bloodsword Master doesn't only have a high-level space-time universe that I need, but he also has a soul defense true treasure at the lowest level, which is at the top-tier level. With these two precious true treasures, it's worth our North Sea Palace taking action. You mean? Red Eye Master immediately looked at Xianxia Master. Xianxia Master smiled coldly. I will report this matter and our speculations. After that, North Sea Palace will deal with him and seize his true treasure. We just need to wait for the news. Okay. Red Eye Master nodded slightly. Chapter 3560. Unexplored area. Jian Wushuang stopped in the Nine Twists Demon Cave. My strength is still too weak. Even if I use the Heaven Cleaving skill, my battle strength is only at the pinnacle of the 6th realm. If I was stronger, I could have killed the Red Eye Master just now, Jian Wushuang thought. Yes, his target from the very beginning was Red Eye Master. As for Xianxia Master, he was well aware of his strength. He could not pose any threat to Xianxia Master, but Red Eye Master was different. Red Eye Master's soul skills were indeed impressive, but his ability to fight head-on was too weak. Apart from the illusion, ordinary soul attacks and soul-crushing attacks had no effect on him. As long as he could get close to the Red Eye Master, he indeed had a chance to kill him. It was precisely because of this that he was able to rely on the rebound force formed from his battle with the Xianxia Master to get close to the Red Eye Master. But unfortunately, he was still a little lacking in the end. This Xianxia Master and the Red Eye Master both come from the North Sea Palace, and the North Sea Palace is definitely one of the top 3 great forces in this territory. It is said that there are 4 ruler realm experts, far beyond what our Star Palace can compare to. Because the North Sea Palace is strong, the experts of the North Sea Palace are very arrogant. When they were adventuring in the 3 universe battlefields, they were very overbearing. However, Master Stone Loathsome and Red Eye Master have suffered a great loss in my hands. With their usual style of doing things, I'm afraid they won't let this matter go, Jian Wushuang thought to himself. He had almost killed the Red Eye Master, so it would be strange for them to give up in front of the Xianxia Master. .bg container 632764337b6 display, flex direction, column align items, center justify content, center Z index, 214-748-3647. Important, I'm not afraid of these 2 alone, but the North Sea Palace behind them. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes and shrugged. I had planned to explore the Nine Twists Demon Cave for a while and then go to the special space-time that I found in the Shui Bay. But now it seems that I have to give up. Jian Wushuang had made up his mind and immediately flew out of the Nine Twists Demon Cave along the star map. The Devil Smoke Valley was too big. Even though Jian Wushuang was traveling at full speed, it still took him 3 years to leave the area of the Nine Twists Demon Cave. After that, it took him another 16 years. Only then did Jian Wushuang come to the unexplored area at the core of the Devil Smoke Valley. As the name implied, the unexplored area was a place that had never been explored before. Only a small part of the Great Devil Smoke Valley had been explored, and most of the places belonged to the unexplored area. Most of the territory at the core of Devil Smoke Valley also belonged to the unexplored area. Over the years, experts from various forces in the various star worlds in this territory would often go to these unexplored areas to explore. However, because they did not know what was ahead and what they would encounter, it was naturally extremely dangerous. However, there were more opportunities in these unexplored areas. Dark Cyan, a precipice that is over 100,000 feet tall. It should be here. Jian Wushuang looked at the precipice in front of him. This precipice was 100,000 feet tall and its entire body was dark cyan. In the middle of the precipice, there was a small gap. The gap was very narrow, but it was enough for a cultivator to pass through. Shui Bei entered the unknown region through the gap in the middle of the cliff. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes and carefully looked at the star map left by Shui Bei. After confirming that the cliff in front of him was the place Shui Bei had mentioned, he immediately moved toward the gap in the middle of the cliff. When he entered the crack in the cliff, 2 principal's masters happened to pass by and saw Jian Wushuang. Who is that person? How could he choose to enter the unknown region from there? One of the principal's masters, who was wearing a red robe, asked curiously. He looks like the Blood Sword Master who just rose up not long ago. I heard that he appeared in the Nine Twists Demon Cave. I didn't expect that he would come here again and go directly into the unknown region. The other elder with a child's face and white hair also stared at Jian Wushuang. TSK. TSK. This Blood Sword Master is quite bold. The unknown region is full of dangers, and most of the dangers are unpredictable. It can be said that life and death are purely dependent on luck. How long has it been since he came to the universe battlefield? Isn't he a bit too eager to go directly into the unknown region? The principal's master said in a red robe. Who knows? However, those who dare to venture into the unexplored regions are usually desperados. Many people are forced to go into the unexplored regions to search for great opportunities. For example, many people who are stuck at the same level and unable to break through for a long time can only enter the unexplored regions to gamble for a tiny chance of breaking through. Who knows? They might find great opportunities there and break through, said the elder with a youthful face and white hair. Haha, how can it be so easy to find such great opportunities? In any case, you and I don't have that much pressure. There's no need for us to gamble our lives there. The red-robed principal's master laughed. What the two of them were talking about was actually the understanding of the experts from the various powers in the various astral realms toward the unexplored regions. Within the three great battlefields, the unexplored regions were filled with great opportunities, but they were also filled with even more dangers. Even a ruler realm expert roaming within the unexplored regions would die if he wasn't careful, much less an ordinary principal's master. Therefore, very few people dared to venture into the unexplored regions within this territory. At the very least, those experts who had lived a comfortable life would not venture into the unexplored regions. There were only some who had no attachments or had reached a bottleneck in their strength and were unable to break through even after a long period of time. In order to find a chance to break through, they ventured into the unexplored regions. In addition, some people who were forced by their enemies had no choice but to try their luck in the unknown region. After all, the risks in the unknown region were too great. Because of this, when they saw Jian Wushuang entering the unknown region to explore, they said that Jian Wushuang was brave. However, they did not know that Jian Wushuang was not the kind of person who was impatient to live or could not improve his strength and could only try his luck in the unknown region. On the contrary, he had unlimited possibilities and his strength had been improving. However, the reason why he entered the unknown region was because Xue Bei had already paved the way for him. As long as he followed the star map left by Xue Bei, he could find the special spacetime. According to Xue Bei, the special spacetime definitely contained an incredible opportunity. Jian Wushuang had to go to such a place.